All right. How is everybody doing today? I am just gonna wait just a little bit before we get started, just to give some people some time to join the stream. I hope that everybody is well and healthy. It's a crazy time of year. At least in the northern hemisphere, it's flu season. So there's tons of stuff going around. It's a crazy time, but I hope everybody is well. In today's live stream, I just want to talk about the markets. I really just want to talk about Bitcoin and what I see and what I'm expecting for this week, as well as what I think could happen into the weekend and possibly next week. If we haven't already met before, my name is Moon and Papa. This is definitely live because I didn't even do this thing. But anyway, I am a 3 commas ambassador, and I also have courses on thebettertraders.com. I have weekly live streams just like this every single Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You're going to have to convert it because I do, because I'm actually streaming from Japan right now. I'm in Tokyo. So it's, what is it? It's Thursday at 11 a.m. I even have to do the conversion and look at the clock down there. So in today's live stream, I'm going to be talking about Bitcoin, Ethereum, one more chart that has just been too generous to my club members, so I have to brag a little bit, right? That's the kind of fun part that I get to do when I got a club. So people are making profits, I want to share that. So before I go any further, I need to make sure that I cover my bases, and I have a little disclaimer. Feel free to read and listen along. I really need a bouncing ball for this one. I don't know how old you guys are, but like super old school, like karaoke, where it's a bouncing ball, whatever. I'll go ahead and play it. Just give me a second to stop the music. Yeah, that's fun. Not an awkward transition at all. This content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. The Better Traders is not a broker-dealer. We are not an investment advisor. We have no access to non-public information about publicly traded companies or cryptocurrencies. And this is not a place for the giving or receiving of financial advice, advice concerning investment decisions, or tax or legal advice. The value of investments and the income derived from them can go down as well as up. Investors may not get back the amount they invested, and past performance is not a guide to future performance. So, thank you for just being patient while we had to play through that. And before I even go to the charts, before I go to anything else, if you are just happening to stumble on this live stream and you're enjoying things so far, even though I haven't done anything yet, I would appreciate it if you subbed. But more than that, actually, if you like the video. So if you haven't already subbed to my channel here on YouTube, it's growing. And it's fantastic to see things growing. I'm also on Twitter as well. So yeah, this is our stream right now. So it should be going live, but go ahead and leave a like for it if you like what you're seeing so far. And let's go ahead and just talk about the market. So this week, or I'll even address the video that I posted last week. So I said that I'm looking for 3 specific things to happen in order for Bitcoin to be bullish again. So it did break out of the trend that I had drawn and I showed in that video, but the reality is that there are way more trend lines in there. So the one good thing that happened between now and the video that was posted last Friday is that RSI on the daily time frame has increased steadily for BTC. And let me go ahead and bring up the chart. So I talked about a couple of things. Last week I talked about this now dotted line right here. So Bitcoin did break above this line, which is great. And interestingly enough, on faster time frames, it actually dropped when it broke above it right here. It dropped and it touched it, which is amazing. I just thought that was so cool as like a retest. So the not so fun part is that we have a couple of things to watch out for. We have these lines up here, and let me delete one of these because I think, there we go. Perfect. Okay. So right here, this red line which I've been updating the club members in our private Discord server about this all week and talking about what I'm seeing and what I'm expecting. So this is no surprise to them. So this trend line is drawn from back here in December, going up into this peak right here in January. And that's giving us this new trend line to basically Bitcoin has to break above it. And the main thing that I kept saying over and over in the private server is that I'm just not convinced yet that we're super bullish. And the reason for that's pretty obvious, but if you don't know what to look for, then you don't know what's obvious about it. For one, in last week's video, I talked about things that I want to see would be growing volume, which we did see, but now it's died down again. Other things I wanted to see are the price, or rather the TBO, give us one of these, a close short. And I still think we're a long ways out from seeing one of those, unfortunately. I did say, though, that, and if not, I'll say it here. The beautiful thing about the TBO fast line, which is this pink line, which we've actually been in a short position with the TBO ever since officially the 28th of November. So if you had just held your short position up until now, you'd be at 32% profit. And with super low leverage, like 2 or 3x leverage, which would be very conservative and you'd have little risk of getting liquidated from the time of this entry, you'd be sitting pretty. I mean, that'd be a pretty nice 100% with basically low risk, which is great. So what I did say, though, I think I did. I want to say I did, but if not, I'll say it here. Okay, I'll stop saying that. What tends to happen is that this pink line, which is the TBO fast line, what happens is that the price and this line are magnetized. Because it's a moving average, it's going to come down when the price drastically moves down, but eventually the price will come up to meet it before making another change. So the unfun part about what we're seeing right now is a pattern that's happened a couple of times, which I am personally not excited about. Talking about here, here, I'll do it like that, and here. So here we are today. Now, I know that a lot of things have changed since these lines happened, but let me just explain what I'm talking about. What we're seeing here is the price is getting bearish, duh, and it's falling, duh. But the interesting thing is that it does come to a point where it does kiss or touch. Ooh, very sensual, Moon and Papa. Good grief, I had to be careful my language. Oh my. It does kiss or touch the, I have to say it, it's too good now. The fast line here. So when the price does reach it, it eventually just keeps falling because the trend is still very much bearish. It does it 1, 2, 3 times a lady, and 4 times, I don't know. So we have the 4th time where the price came to the fast line and now it's falling again. So what I want to say is that I'm not expecting what's happened in the past to happen again. But if it did, I wouldn't be surprised, we'll say. Just because people are super bullish now on crypto Twitter, which I'm seeing a lot of bullish posts, and I'm going, I don't know what you guys are seeing because I'm not seeing it yet. I don't know who else you're subscribed to here on YouTube for crypto trading or crypto influencers or whatever, but I don't think we're done yet being in this zone personally. Just because like this pattern's played out a lot. So first, I just want to draw your attention to this. This is something that I'm paying attention to. I can't help but see it just because I've been using the TBO since 2018. So it's an indicator I know and I use a lot. So another thing that I'm watching, of course, is the trend line that's coming from here. An interesting thing is that this yellow line right here that's very faint, this is drawn from the low on September 21st, 2021. And if you look up here, open, high, low, close. So the low is 39,600, which is exactly where this price is, this yellow line. So this yellow line was reached here on the 10th of January before we dropped below on the 21st. This is just bringing you up to date in case you woke up from a coma. And if you just woke up from a coma, I feel so honored to have you join this live stream. Oh, thank you. You should drink some water. So yes, even though the market's bearish doesn't mean that I'm not going to be weird. I can't help it. So that price is falling, duh. Market's bearish, duh. People are getting excited, but I really think it's too early. So what we have in front of us, we're going to have to look at with a faster time frame, and I'm going to favor the 4-hour just because it's a little bit better. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. I said I was going to show you the RSI. So the RSI did break above this trend line, which is something I was looking for since back here. I was looking for a breakout of the trend. So we do see that happening. But just because one thing is happening doesn't mean, oh, okay, green light, let's go, 100x. 100x long right now, let's do this. No, not at all. It's just one thing that we're looking at. We have to look at multiple points of confluence or multiple indicators before we make a decision if we want to enter a trade. We can't just go off of one thing. Even the TBO, I love it. I love it to death. I use it for everything. But just because I have the TBO doesn't mean I'm not going to use it in tandem with RSI and volume and trend lines and fib lines and all that stuff. So it is a great indicator to help me get a good idea of what could happen next and how strong the trend is. But, we have to also be responsible and look at other metrics. So RSI did break above. Now let's zoom in a bit. One thing that I see happening, for one, that's kind of good, but kind of not good, is that we are making higher highs. That is good. Here's a high, and now here's a higher high. That's wonderful. But the thing that I don't like is that Bitcoin, instead of making a higher low here, it actually fell. It broke the structure. If I were to draw just a really quick trend line right here, it broke the structure pretty bad about 1 a.m. my time. And this is a really fast time frame to be doing charting on, just so you know. I wouldn't make life-changing decisions on the 4-hour time frame. I would stick to the daily. But it's nice to zoom in and to see what's happening, with just a little bit more of a zoomed in perspective. That's what I'm trying to say. The other thing that I don't like is this. Now we can say, and maybe people will say, well, now we have strong support at 36,600. Not really. Could. I don't see it anywhere. Nothing's really supporting that over here in the price. To be honest, I think we're just going to be doing a lot of this for a while, where it's just going to be going this, and then eventually we're going to capitulate. We're going to move up higher, of course. It would make sense to actually see the price fall down here, down to like 35 or 36 on the nose, excuse me, before moving up. And then the next spot or the next place to move up to is this trend line, which would put us at a lower high. So making a lower low and a lower high isn't good. Not at all. Honestly, it's no good. Now you might hear people talk about, well, no, this is bullish because we have our capitulation and the price is starting to move up. So now we're going to have a bull flag. Again, 4 hours is way too fast to look for detailed chart patterns like bull flags. We would definitely want to use a faster time frame before we start to consider those. And I don't think that's what's happening. So I'm not trying to bum anybody out. I'm really not. Just trying to call it like I see it. So to me, the structure is weakening. To me, it makes more sense for the price to fall down here to 36. And I'll be really interested, to be honest, to see if the price is going to come down here, which is amazingly, and I'm talking about this trend line, but it also happens to be right here where the TBO is calling support, which is automatically drawn for me at 36,155. So one thing that's good about what I'm seeing right now, let's talk about the good. The good thing is that even though yesterday we closed down 4%, the whole market is actually doing okay. Bitcoin is down, but it's not continuing like this mega fall. We could, like I said, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if we did take a plunge down to 30K. I wouldn't. just because there's really no strong support where we are right now. It just doesn't make sense. Let me zoom out to the weekly just to prove my point. So I'm talking about this being strong, talking about this being strong right here, and we just haven't seen that yet. So if we're just going to work off of this nice red line, that's a really dirty trend line, looking at all these wicks and stuff, it would make complete sense for Bitcoin to fall down to 32 or down to 30K. So the scary situation is if we fall below 30K. I don't want to see that happen, but if a doomsday scenario like that did happen, then we're looking at 20K. Not instantaneous, but I'll tell you what, there'll be a lot of buying going on. And I don't know how much you follow Glassnode or look at metrics like that, but there's a lot of Bitcoin being bought and moved off of exchanges, which is bullish. We're just not seeing it in the price action right now. So I think I'm beating this horse to death. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm sorry for the horse lovers out there. I imagine that PETA is not happy about me saying that. So I'm sure that, how about this? I don't want to brush this horse bare. Does that work? Maybe. I don't think so. So another thing that I'm looking at is Bitcoin dominance. So Bitcoin dominance is something that we have to pay attention to, and this is a metric showing us the percentage of market cap that is dominated by Bitcoin. How much of the crypto market cap is or consists of Bitcoin? And right now it's 41%. It's falling. We're not seeing this big move like I was hoping, even though the pattern was exactly the same. Check it out. We have our closed short cluster, closed short cluster, cross up and an open long, cross up and open long, but Bitcoin's still weak, unfortunately, as far as the dominance goes, which means that money has to be going to other places. The next place I look is, well, are people moving to stable coins? And yes, yesterday, there was a really small increase of 4% in stablecoin dominance. I wish, if you guys know of an index, or rather this dominance percentage chart that has all stable coins, I would really like to see that. But because USDT is the dominant stable coin, like it or not, this is what we're looking at. So all I see is USDT increasing right now. Not dramatically, but it's something to keep an eye on. So the one thing that I do like, oh, I didn't want to do that yet. I hate giving away surprises. You already saw it, but I mean, come on. The other thing that, let me do this. There we go. Is that Ethereum is surprisingly strong right now, I have to say. I am actually very impressed with how good Ethereum is performing. Compared to Bitcoin, you can see it right away. We actually have a trend intact, which is good, and it's holding the trend. So we can make that green. And there's also higher highs happening too. Now, it took a little bit of time to pass it, but we can see that generally we're seeing this move up, which is great. So what would break it? Well, if we break to the downside to 2,500 and then keep falling, of course that would be bearish, but right now Ethereum is actually much stronger than Bitcoin. You can tell the difference. It's pretty striking. So what this tells me is that people are taking their funds, and instead of buying Bitcoin, they're buying Ethereum. They might be buying other layer 1 or layer 2 tokens, because people are still wanting to participate in the NFT space, buying and selling, and you need Ethereum to do that, although the fees are outrageously high. So Ethereum is surprisingly strong on the 4-hour. On the daily, it's doing much better. You'll notice here that the farther away it gets from this fast line, the more time, or actually the quicker amount of time, rather, it will be until it finally reaches it. So it's almost like you can place a bet in a weird way when the price is really far from the F line, and now we're not seeing it go up to this exact price, but moving up from here, our lows at 23 all the way up. I mean, that's a nice 18% gain after how many days? 6 days, about 10 days. So it's pretty good. Ethereum is definitely much stronger than Bitcoin is right now. Although on faster timeframes, if it breaks this trend line, then no, I don't think so. One other thing that's important to pay attention to is the TBO. So I'm going to go ahead and hide all of my drawings just to show you something and to compare these two. So the TBO consists of lots of different things, but what I want you to focus on is what I call the cloud, this red mass that kind of looks like a whale, funny enough. So what I'm watching right now is to see if all of these lines are going to start moving up together. And they're all transparent, but they're all over here. These numbers that are grouped right here, and also this number up here. So these are all four of these different lines. When these all start to point up in the same direction, that, to me, is a sign of strength. So I'm not seeing that on Bitcoin, but for Ethereum, we are basically there. It's going to take a little bit of time for the slowest line here to move up, but this looks the strongest right now. Oh, another chart that, again, I'm not trying to gloat, not trying to brag, but gotta say that I called FTT pretty well, don't you think? I posted a video on the 21st when the market dumped saying that I think that FTT is going to be the first token to capitulate first, the first token to move back up into its previous range. And that's pretty much what it did. When I made the video, I think it was somewhere over here in the 43 range. And it literally, after the dump on the 21st, it made its move back up 34%. And it's basically in the same exact range where it was when I made the video. Just want to hold that there for just a second. Yeah, you did good. You did good. This is what you get. This is what you get, guys. So I do have a bit of a brag, but before I do want to remind you that if you're enjoying what you see, all this madness and silliness, I would love it if you subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, that'd be awesome. And if you like the TBO, I have a pinned comment, but if you can't find it, that's okay. You can go to thebettertraders.com and you can click here on TBO. And don't worry that the live stream or whatever is down. I have to fix that still. This has been a busy week, and you'll find out why in about a week when we make a public announcement about what's going on. But you can see the TBO in action. It's a ridiculously awesome indicator. Highly recommend it. So now that I've talked about that, I want to talk about this over here before we look at some charts, before we do some other stuff. So I did tell you that I had something that I wanted to brag about, and that is Suku. So Suku was a trading pair that I added to our watch list for our bi-monthly, twice-a-month live streams on the Better Traders Club. So our club meeting was on the 24th, and then Suku pumped. Well, if you looked at it on the 24th and you just held, you could have made as much as, actually went up a lot higher since I last made that Twitter post. It went up about 70%. But I mean, if you just waited for a bottom and then bought on the impulse, I mean, it's as high as almost 100%, which is awesome. I love it when the trading pairs that I have in my watch list perform this well, but I like it even more when I see people profiting, when I see people making some good gains with it. I have, let me see if I can. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I'm protecting people's privacy just a little bit. So here is the private server for the Better Traders Club. And this is a little channel we have for showing and telling our profits, and got a couple of guys that got some really good profits from this call. So this is just one of the benefits of the Better Traders Club. I mean, live streams where I go into way more detail in the market, share and prepare watch lists. We have indicators, we have signals here on the private server, and I post updates a lot more because I am finally becoming more free, and you'll find out why next week. But the calls that I'm talking about and my insights and stuff, they're hitting the mark right now. After everything that I am sharing. So it's good. It's a good place to be. So if this is something that you're interested in and you want to get way more insights into the market and what's happening and get some watch lists and signals and all that stuff, I highly recommend checking out the Better Traders Club. So you can check it out here. And like I said, it's a good place to be. Our next live stream is on my Monday, but I think it'll be Sunday in North America, Sunday evening. So if you want to catch the next live stream, go ahead and sign up for the Better Traders Club there. So last time I really wanted to just show off the Better Crypto Scanner to look for volatile pairs that have been volatile in the last 24 hours, just to give you a couple of ideas on how you can use this insane free tool. So we're going to go ahead and just play around with that a little bit, just to look at like 2 or 3 trading pairs. And full disclosure, I haven't prepared anything. This is the way I like to use it, honestly, just because it's fun to see what pops up. And then once we'll look at a couple of trading pairs, we'll look at it on the chart. I can share my thoughts about it. So I'm not actively trying to shill any tokens that may come up on that. I'm just going to be talking about what I see and the results. So here on the Better Crypto Scanner, I'm going to go ahead and reset my filters. And let's go ahead and, I want to bring something to your attention. We added Gate.io in our list of available exchanges. So for all of you AB traders out there that like low volume exchanges, Gate.io is for you. We are going to look at KuCoin just because KuCoin is the place for AB trading, in my opinion. And we're going to focus on, let's do the BTC market, or no, let's do USDT market. And we're going to look at spreads greater than 20%, and we're going to sort it by the spread high versus low. I don't want to see all 50. I just want to see the top 5 biggest movers according to our last update. And this is updated about every 30 minutes. And what we're looking at here is data that's based on a rolling 24-hour period. So apparently CVX USDT looks like it had a huge pump. So let's go ahead and look at CVX and see what pops up. Okay, it just listed. So yes, this is going to be really, really risky. I talk about this in other videos, in other places, but it doesn't hurt saying this now. Avoid newly listed charts. Especially if they are not available on other exchanges, because there's no frame of reference for you to know if it's super overbought or oversold or anything. It's better just to watch these play out. But if you, sorry about that, bong. If you want to play it on a faster time frame, I mean, this is popping and rocking. There's just a huge risk right now of what could happen next. So let's see if there's anything for CVX. Okay, on Binance, and now we have history. So if you want to do something like that, definitely make sure that you check another chart first before you decide, oh wow, this is a great buy right now on KuCoin because it just listed. No, because you can see people were buying like crazy and it shot the price up to 50, whereas on, what was it, Binance, it should really only be at 26. So some people bought it all the way up here because of low liquidity, unfortunately, on KuCoin. That's always a bummer, to be honest. So let's skip the bummer, leave, and let's check out the next one, Fourth, which I'm pretty sure is Ample Fourth. So let's see. There we go. So the scanner is letting us know, and it's only showing us, rather, let me rephrase that. It's only showing us spreads, which is the measurement of the low to the high, that are greater than 20%, which all of these are, and it's organizing it or sorting it for us with the highest spread at the top of the list. So this is going to show us volatile trading pairs. And yeah, Fourth got pumped. Well, good for them. So here on KuCoin, and I wonder how it looks on other exchanges, because I know it's also on Coinbase as well. Yeah. So when these things happen, you'll definitely want to compare and contrast to see what the liquidity is like on other exchanges, because it might have pumped higher or harder. And it also will look very different on faster time frames, especially on KuCoin compared to something like Binance or especially Coinbase. Let's take a look at one more, and we're going to do something different. We're going to look for or try to find a fat finger candidate. So we're going to sort our 24-hour low to see, or no, this is going to show us our mooning pairs. Let me go like this. Oh, jupe. This one or yield might be it. Let's see. Oh, okay, this one's just pumping. So Jupiter's just moving. That's cool. That's fine. And yields. Whoa, this one pumped a lot. Literally just pumped 30 minutes ago. So the benefit of using something like this, and it's okay that we're actually finding this. This is great. The benefit of finding the scanner that I have to make really plain is that the scanner can show you coins that are in an uptrend or a downtrend. They're strongly trending. It can show you tokens that have had a pump or a fat finger, which a pump is just obviously when the price shoots up. A fat finger is when there's a long lower wick before it comes up right away. So the scanner is great at showing you volatility, but the scanner is not going to show you, or it's not going to give you a quick heads up before something like this happens. So I have to just make that plain. But just because it's not going to show me when yield is going to pump next doesn't discredit the scanner at all. If anything, now that I know that yield is pumped, look at this with the TBO. Are you kidding me? Look at that. If you had just taken this trade based off of the support and the resistance lines, I mean, that's 19% doing what? Nothing. That's ridiculous. I don't know about the liquidity for this trading pair, but you get the idea. It's just ridiculously awesome. So I'm not saying to buy any of these tokens that have pumped, but what I'm saying is that there's a way to trade these and trade them over and over and over. Charts just like these, especially with the TBO. And the TBO will be the main thing that will let you know when a trend change could be happening. Check it out. Right there. Close your short. Close your short again. And then we have what? We have an open long, and then it shoots up. Boom. Then we get confirmation. It's going to cross up probably, and then it does. So not every time is it going to be amazing. Not every time, but it does a good job of giving you some extra information. So I just wanted to take a minute to talk about the market for Bitcoin. And again, I'm not seeing strength in Bitcoin's price. It wouldn't surprise me to see a drop down to 35 or down to 33 or even down to 30K. It just depends on what the market brings our way and what news hits our feeds over the weekend. So I'll say this about Bitcoin. I'll be really, really surprised if Bitcoin went to 40K today, tomorrow, over the weekend. I'd be really, really surprised. From what I can tell in the chart, it doesn't have that momentum yet to be super bullish. If anything, I think we're going to continue ranging back and forth. And if we can range between 30K and 38K over and over, that's going to mean some amazing altcoin action to come. Because typically when Bitcoin goes sideways and we can see Bitcoin dominance is falling, meaning more people are putting their funds to either stablecoins or Ethereum or other tokens, that means that we'll probably see other tokens pump. So just keep your eyes open. You have to keep an eye on Bitcoin, but from where I am now, looking at the 5-day forecast for Bitcoin, I am expecting us to not cross 40K. But if we do, expect a lot of pain for the altcoins. Just saying, especially the BTC market pairs, okay? So be really careful about those, but I don't expect us to move above 40K, but if it does happen, it will be big because that's going to really start us to give us a lot of momentum to move up higher and higher and higher. But for now, I honestly think we're just going to keep ranging. And basically where we've been, like 33K up to 38K for at least another week or two. But I can't predict much further out than that. We do have some resistance lines to watch out for that are keeping the price down. So we'll see. But in the immediate near future, that's what I'm seeing at least. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this live stream. I'm going to go ahead and go back to work. Again, you'll find out what work I'm doing. There's a lot of it to be done, but I'm glad that I could just take a minute to hang out with you all here on YouTube. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you have a great week. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.